The Kentucky Beef Council and Kentucky Living Magazine proudly present Professor Lisa Hunt for the Lean Beef Cooking Demo.
Hi, thanks everybody. Thank you, welcome everyone. I hope that you are comfortable here in the Culinary Arts Dining Room. We're really glad to have you. I'm going to turn on my burners, and that takes a little bit for them to get ready. Get nice and hot. I really look a lot online. How many of you look online all the time for different recipes and different things to do? And I found one that I really like that kind of changes up the normal meatloaf that you may normally have, and it puts in some different seasonings with it that kind of really makes it kind of snap. And so I'm going to walk through that with you. So while this is heating up, it's really important for this recipe that you have a nice warm skillet, hot skillet. It helps the recipe not to stick. This recipe is the Smokey Chipotle Meatballs, and they're in a Adobo sauce. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the ingredients that are in there. You have your recipes, but of course it's ground beef. It's got onions, it's got garlic, but one of the main things that sets it apart, it has these chipotle peppers in Adobo sauce. They have these at any grocery store in the international section. You can find them, and they're very inexpensive. But when you take them out, they look like this, and they're just a smoked pepper. And then when you take the peppers out, there's some sauce left over, and you'll utilize that in your recipe as well. It also has Worcestershire, has cumin in it, gives it really a South American feel to this whole recipe. Salt and pepper, a little bit of celery salt in it too, onion. And you mix all of that together with your ground beef, chop your onion, mix it all together, and then you can make it in different things. Tonight I'm going to show you a meatball, way to make it with meatballs, but you're going to be served in a different method, so you'll see that too. So I think this is getting warm. So you mix all of the ingredients together, and you roll it into about an inch and a half meatball, then just put it in there. Start to brown them. I think it's really important when you're cooking beef, and that's almost kind of the secret to my roast. I think you should sear the outside of a roast before you cook it, and that seals in the flavor, and it changes the texture of the outside. And so with these meatballs, you may want to sear them in the pan, but sometimes it's hard to cook small meatballs like this all the way through and not get them too brown. So if you need to, you can always finish them off in the oven once they've browned. And that's a trick that we use a lot here, is we will brown meat on the outside and leave it unfinished and then finish in the oven. That way it's got a nice brown without getting too done, and it can be finished off. I'm going to let those cook. I'll turn them down a little. I'm going to put the lid on them so that they kind of seals in that heat, helps them to get some of the heat from the top down as well as the bottom up, and just let those cook for just a few minutes. This recipe also calls for a barbecue sauce. Use whatever kind you want. The other thing you want to do when you're doing a meatloaf or a meatball or something, you have to have a binder in it. And your recipe calls for eggs. That acts as a binder when you're making any kind of meatloaf, but also usually something that kind of binds it together and also soaks up moisture. So breadcrumbs are really common to use, but the one that we're using tonight that you're going to be eating actually has oatmeal in it, and that's different. So I use oatmeal, I use rice, I use whatever I have. I'm one of those cooks. If I've got rice, I might use. If I got oatmeal, I'll use just whatever that I have that's going to work out for me. Here's the trick with this, is to keep the outside from burning, as I think I'm getting ready to demonstrate, and get the inside done without the outside drying out. So you could probably go a little bit bigger than this, but if I were going to go bigger than this, then I would definitely have stopped it once my meat was brown and put it in the oven to finish. Now, we use here a meat thermometer or a kitchen thermometer to check all of our food. And what that does is it lets us know that it's safe to eat without overdoing it. And so we use it for everything that we do. And so if you haven't, I bought my mother a thermometer for Christmas, and now she's using it. You know, a lot of us were especially when we grill. Is it done? Is it done? I don't know if it's done. So you keep looking and cutting and until you overcook it and it dries out. So you want to make sure they're safe, but you don't want to overdo it. And a meat thermometer is one of the best ways to do that. But I'll tell you another reason that these meatballs may stick more than just regular is because they have the barbecue sauce in it. And you know, anytime you put sugar in anything, it's going to stick more. And so you have to watch out for that, and that can happen. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. I'm just going to transfer these meatballs that are done and put some of the barbecue sauce. Here, what you'd want to do if you were making a lot of these is probably you could wait till you're all finished. You might even prepare a pan to go into the oven and put them all on there, and then you could pour your barbecue sauce over all of them and let the barbecue sauce, you not really have to heat it, but I like how it thickens it up, and almost like when it browns a little bit. It's like we were talking today with the students, it's like when those baked beans get that little crust of brown sugar on top of them. It's really adds to the flavor when they caramelize. Yeah, sure. There wouldn't be, there would not be any reason why you couldn't. And you could freeze your meatballs too. That would be a really good use. Thank you. Thank you very much.